Welcome to Interviews, the show about everyday people with extraordinary stories. I'm your host, Abigail Mankey. My guest today is Crocket Grabbe. Crocket has a PhD in applied physics from Caltech and was a research scientist at the University of Iowa for 29 years. At age 26, he was diagnosed with a large pituitary tumor, which was removed by brain surgery and followed up with radiation. At age 34, Crocket was hit with a major cerebral hemorrhage, also known as an acute stroke. He was paralyzed on his right-hand side and had to relearn how to walk and talk. Despite these challenges, Crocket has never stopped work as a physicist, writing and contributing to more than 7 books and publishing over 100 papers. Crocket, welcome to Interviews.
Hi.
Now, I know you got the diagnosis just days before you were supposed to take your final oral exam for your PhD. How did you feel when you found out you had a tumor and you're supposed to just be preparing for your final exam?
I put priority on finishing my PhD first to finish the exam and then go into hospital afterwards.
So how did it manifest? Like, what symptoms were you having that led you to go to the hospital?
I had something going on the right-hand side. I mean, it was just one of those things. The feeling of my whole right-hand side was very different than it should be. And I actually had a doctor who did diagnose it, who rejected me. But
why? Like, what was that about? I mean, this is part of the bad medical care that you received.
That's right. I tried to go to the emergency room 3 times, and I got admitted the 3rd time.
Crocket, I want to move on to the brain hemorrhage that you had, which was about 8 years after the tumor.
Later. When I did have that stroke, the reason I had it was because of that radiation treatment in my brain from the tumor 8 years before.
Really?
I almost died from it.
Wow. Crocket, after the cerebral hemorrhage, it was a long process of recovery. You had paralysis on your right-hand side, and you essentially had to learn to walk and talk all over again. Take us through that journey of recovery.
People had difficulty understanding me because of the
dysarthria,
right? And then also, I would take a lot of spills from walking, and so I learned how to basically overcome the paralysis, and learned very slowly how to walk again.
Okay, I do want to go back to the shootings. They were in 1991. I know that this greatly affected you, and I think even affected your recovery. Tell us what happened.
I had been hit with that cerebral hemorrhage. I lost my income. And then after losing my income, then I lost friends and colleagues from that shooting.
And let me just say real quick, it was a student in your department at the University of Iowa who shot and killed several people. But how did it affect your recovery? I mean, I know that it was a really hard time for you.
The easiest thing would have been for me to give up at that time. I was on a low point, but I kept saying to myself, I won't quit. I won't quit. And I don't know how many times I said that to myself. And I didn't quit.